Welcome to W&L Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with men's soccer coach Mike Singleton, women's cross country captain Rachel Solomon, and volleyball captain Mackenzie Shan. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington in the athletics. Volleyball improved to 3-0 in the ODAC with a pair of road wins, sweeping Randolph and then winning a rematch of last year's conference final against Lynchburg in straight sets. At the Mary Washington Kickoff Classic, 3 men's tennis players went 3-0 in singles action, while Brooke Donnelly won all 3 of her matches in the women's #1 singles flight. Down in Mississippi, men's golf finished 3rd out of 17 teams at the Rhodes Fall Classic. Field hockey fell 1-0 at 16th-ranked Christopher Newport, but then stunned number 12 Catholic 3-2 in overtime at the W&L Turf Field. Women's soccer beat Randolph 9-0 and then claimed a 2-1 OT win at Elizabethtown, and men's soccer opened up ODAC play with a 2-1 road victory over Bridgewater. With me in the studio is men's soccer coach Mike Singleton. Mike, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
The Generals claimed that win against the Eagles on a penalty kick in the 89th minute. How satisfying and how important was it to claim all 3 points in your first conference match?
Well, for going through that game, we dominated the team in shots and possession. So as it got to the later minutes, we were really, really pressing to make sure we could get the result. And the way the ODAC is so competitive, and last year, single points separated multiple places in the final standings. So getting the 3 points is extremely important to position us to move on and position us hopefully for the end of the year, because every time you can get the extra point, it's really important to you in this tight conference.
We talked last week with one of your captains, Patrick Berry, about the talent of the first-year class. How are all those newcomers adapting to collegiate soccer?
Oh, they're getting an education real fast and real furious. The big difference in the college game from where they come is it's more physical and it's a lot faster pace. So the guys have really had to adapt to that, and they've taken some knocks and some bruises, but they're getting used to sort of rolling with the punches, and then also playing with more limited touches and making sure that they use their skill and their quickness to their optimal potential. And I think you'll see last game we started 5 freshmen and got a positive result, so I think that speaks loudly about how well they're doing.
You spoke earlier about how competitive the ODAC is from top to bottom. No reason to think this year will be any different. Is that a challenge to stay sharp, or does it maybe make it a little bit easier to remain focused when you know you have to play your best every time out?
Well, I think there's pros and cons to it. In the beneficial side, it really teaches the players as they go through the season that they have to come ready to play at their best every single match. At the same point, the college season is so compact and there's so many games in such a short time period, it's really tough to do that and really tough to get through the season playing because it's such a grind. So we've been talking as a team about managing some games a bit better and recognizing if we can score a few more goals and hopefully put a game out of reach earlier, and then make sure we rest some of the players that are the players that we rely on more, it will really provide sort of a deeper and a more rested squad as we hope to compete for conference titles.
The objective, of course, is to be playing your best soccer when the ODAC tournament rolls around in early November. What do the Generals need to do on the field to get to that level?
Well, we've been talking about that since the first day of preseason, really, is that we have to grow every week and every game. And I think the guys are making good steps right now, and it's as we get more familiar with each other and as we understand the system of play that we're trying to install, it's just taking 1 or 2 steps a week to being able to understand where each other is moving off the ball, how each other plays to their strengths, and then really recognizing that everybody fulfills a different role, and it really is a team effort and trusting in each other to perform the role that each other needs to fulfill.
Mike, thank you for joining us. Best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. I appreciate it.
I'm joined now by Rachel Solomon, senior cross-country captain from Jacksonville, Florida. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We spoke last week with Coach Dager about how young the Generals are in 2015. With so many first years and sophomores on the roster, how are you and your co-captains approaching your leadership role?
I think with so many young members of our team, we're trying to approach the leadership role with a lot of leading by example. A lot of times things like that happen outside of practice, like nutrition, sleep, time management, those are things that are really important to our team, and we try to encourage our first years to not only perform well at practice, but to have a balanced lifestyle, and we're really trying to lead that by example.
I know the Generals have had to battle a number of injuries so far this fall. How are you dealing with that adversity?
Well, running is always one of those sports where it's a very fine line and difficult balance between doing the maximum training that you want to do to improve your performance, but also making sure that you're not pushing yourself too far to where you get injured. And right now we're doing the most that we can to rehab the people who are dealing with injuries and also prevent injuries, whether that means heating, icing, doing extra strengthening exercises. We've done a lot of stuff in the weight room to try and prevent more injuries from coming up.
W&L will compete at Carnegie Mellon in a couple of weeks, followed by the South-Southeast Regional Preview at Shenandoah. How important are those races as you prepare for the postseason?
Those races are really important to us, especially because we're getting the opportunity to see our course for the regional race ahead of time. So that's an advantage that we really haven't had previous years, that at least in the years that I've been on the team. So it's going to be really important for us to perform well, to get to know the course well, and to really have a good showing out there.
What are the general's goals for the ODAC and for the regional meet?
We really, really want to win ODACs, and we are so capable of it this year. I think everyone's really on board and excited about that. We have a lot of work to do, and we know that, and we are really trying to conquer our goals right now. As far as regionals, right now we've been ranked as 5th, and that's awesome for us, but we really want to aim towards nationals, so that's going to mean doing everything we can to get ourselves in one of those top 2 positions at the regional competition.
Rachel, thanks for joining us. Best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Here with me now is Mackenzie Shan, junior volleyball captain from Saline, Michigan. Mackenzie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
The Generals are hitting .365 through your first 3 ODAC matches. How is the offense developing with your new setter?
I mean, obviously, as you can see by the stats, it's developing really well. We all worked really hard in the off season to just kind of get tempo and be able to connect with each other. And Elena worked super hard on getting stronger physically and strategically. So obviously, it's paid off.
You finished 5th in Division III last season in hitting percentage. You're off to another great start in 2015. What's contributed to your success at middle blocker?
I mean, as a middle, obviously my success comes completely from my team. Like, if we're not passing well, we're not setting well, I don't even get an opportunity to succeed. So the fact that we've just been playing great all around, like the entire team, has helped me succeed.
We've got a pair of top 5 teams coming to the Warner Center this weekend, Emory and Christopher Newport. What's the mindset of the Generals as you face that kind of competition at home?
I think we're all super amped for the opportunity to verse some really great teams and just be able to run our system the way we can against super strong teams. So, and the fact that on Saturday we have our sorority Greek night at 3 against Christopher Newport, we're hoping to draw a really big home crowd and really give us that home field advantage against some really great teams.
The Generals will cover a lot of miles in October, a lot of road ODAC matches. You go to Pennsylvania and Georgia for tournaments as well. What are the keys to performing well during the second half of the year?
I think just taking care of the little things, both on and off the court, you know, staying up on schoolwork, staying healthy, especially when it gets to be cold and flu season. I think if we just take care of those little things, then I have no doubt that we'll crush the second part of the season.
Mackenzie, thanks for joining us. Best of luck with the rest of the fall.
Thank you.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. Football wraps up its non-conference schedule on Friday night with the home contest against the Apprentice School. On Saturday, men's and women's cross country will compete in the Commonwealth Challenge at Shenandoah, while the riding team begins its season at Randolph. Volleyball will play host to a pair of top 5 teams at the Warner Center, beating 4th-ranked Emory at 11 and then facing number 2 Christopher Newport at 3. Both soccer teams are on the road. The women travel to Guilford and the men head out to Virginia Wesleyan. Also this weekend, women's tennis returns to Mary Washington for the ITA Southeast Regional Championship, and field hockey visits St. Mary's. For W&L Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.